Diary. It is the middle of March 2023. Hello from me and hello from Princess in the Study, and we are going to review today the IntPC Thunderbolt 3 dock. So I'm afraid we're going to have to divert our attention from something very attractive to something almost as attractive, which is the IntPC Thunderbolt 3 dock. Now, I've been testing this for about a week. There's an unboxing video which I'll put into the WordPress article that accompanies this YouTube video. And I bought this on Amazon in the UK for under £190, £189.99. And the test was, does this dock do everything that I need? Compared with the industry leader, which I would say is the Caldigit TS4 dock. So the Caldigit TS4 is about 360 GBP, and this is only £190 basically. So that's an extremely good deal if everything would work. And the management summary is, yes, everything does work. There's a few caveats, and we're just going to go through those caveats now. So it provides a bewilderingly large number of ports. You can see it's connected here to a MacBook Air M2 chip working absolutely fine. So as is obvious, well, it's obvious if you've got a Thunderbolt compatible laptop, which is either an Apple laptop recent gen, or that would be an Intel based regular laptop, since AMD chips aren't supported with Thunderbolt. There's the single wire that comes with the Thunderbolt 3 dock, very short cable that plugs into the back, and then we've got accessibility to all the ports. So let's go through the caveats first, and that's not to put you off, but there are two caveats. The first caveat is that the Ethernet port doesn't seem to work at the speed that I would expect. So there's the back of the dock. We've got a display port, the Thunderbolt port connecting the laptop, an output Thunderbolt 3 port, an optical port, a USB port, and an Ethernet, a wide Ethernet port. And this wide Ethernet is only managing 50 megabytes per second. Now, to make sure I wasn't doing anything stupid, I have an alternate adapter here, which is a pretty decent quality. It's an Anchor USB 3 to gigabit Ethernet adapter. And I ran iPerf to another system on our network, and we get about 50 megabytes per second, 50 megabytes per second here. And using this adapter via the USB Type A 3 connection, we get 112 megabytes per second sustained. So slightly less than half the speed if you use the inbuilt Ethernet. So that's a bit of a disappointment. I mean, in reality, if you're not transferring terabytes of files per day, I don't really think you're going to notice the difference. And if you were to really want the faster speed, you could just buy an adapter like this. So that's the first thing that wasn't working as expected. The second thing that wasn't working as expected, but I think on reading the documentation, is the display port. So I've plugged in here a display port to HDMI adapter, since I don't have anymore a DisplayPort screen. So you might be aware that in the industry, the old professional standard was DisplayPort. But these days, whilst you can get monitors with DisplayPort, there's a kind of trend which I'm happy to push, which is to use a decent OLED TV, such as this LG TV here. And that LG TV is used as a monitor, and that doesn't have any DisplayPorts, it's only got HDMI. And whereas the monitor detects an HDMI, so let's just have a little quick look here. One button. So you can see that I've got HDMI 1 and we've got HDMI 4. This is HDMI 4, which is I'm plugged into via the dock. When I select it, there's just no connection. And when I go to display settings on the Mac, there's no connection either. So what can I say? I did read then I went back to the manual, and it would appear that you can't get anything out of that DisplayPort dock on an Apple M style machine, so on an Apple ARM machine. And indeed, when I plugged in this adapter, so that's a USB-C to HDMI adapter, it absolutely works fine. So that plugged into that Thunderbolt port there works absolutely fine, and then it does easily drive my LG monitor. So you won't be using that display port. You'd need to use, for example, the Thunderbolt socket at the back here. Not tested was the optical connector. I presume that's going to work. There's not much call for that these days. If you're going to drive a soundbar, you're probably going to use an ARC connection, which is based on HDMI. And I have tested this backside USB connection. It all works absolutely fine. So on the front, we've still got test going as we speak. We've got a whole smorgasbord of ports. Again, I've tested all the ports. In the WordPress article, we'll give you some exact speeds. Does that thing happen? Oh, it does, yeah. So let's see if we can zoom in on that. So first of all, we've got a 90 watt power brick, which is quite large. We've got the dock itself, and the laptop is actually being powered through this Thunderbolt cable. So I believe up to 60 watts can be supplied via the cable, and that's quite enough to power this very power efficient Apple laptop. Meanwhile, on the front panel, so that would normally stand through 90 degrees. So that would stand sort of up like this. We've got a whole set of ports. We've got a headphone output. We've got a larger SD slot. We've got a micro SD slot. We've got two USB-C 3.1s and a larger Type A, which is still doing a copy test on. And then we've got a whole smorgasbord of slower ports. We've got two USB-C 3.0 and one USB 2.0. So all these ports work absolutely fine. I have no problems with them, and the speeds are what you might expect. Now, as you'll see from the WordPress article, it's actually a little bit hit and miss and / extremely difficult to get the full expected USB speeds from for example, USB 3 compatible or 3.1 or 3.2 compatible drive, and often the thing only connects at USB 2 speeds. Now this really isn't a fault of this dock, and I've tested numerous other devices and laptops, and it is a bit hit and miss. I have a whole bag of USB-C cables, and just getting the dock to connect at USB 3 speeds is really a question of finding the right cable. So as an example, I've got this fancy Silverstone NVMe drive here, and as you'll see in the article, the connection speed can be to transfer 40 gigabytes in gigabytes, not gigabits, 40 gigabytes in about 2 minutes. That's the best speed when you've got the right cable. But if you've got the wrong cable, it can be anything from 12 minutes to an hour. So this isn't, I don't think, a fault of the dock. I had the same problems with different laptops, be it Apple laptops or Windows laptops. Anyway, that's kind of a bit of an aside. We'll go back to the dock. So this is the IntPC dock on Amazon. It's a mere £189. I really can recommend it. The two provisos for use in Apple environments are that the Ethernet socket seems to be only capable of 50 megabytes per second, and I couldn't get the display port working. I think that's by design. You need to use a Thunderbolt output interface via a HDMI adapter, for example, like that, and you will get a second display without any issues, 4K display. Okay, that's it for now. It's £190, Thunderbolt 3 dock, made by IntPC. I do recommend it. Thank you for watching.